Hello. Happy Wednesday, everybody. All right, so our guest is here. Just gonna wait for Musisi to join us and we can get started. I hope you're all having a fantastic Wednesday today. Hi, Musisi.
How are you?
I was about to say, why can't I hear you? But we're okay. You were waving. You were doing good too. I'm well. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. Happy Wednesday. I was shocked to see that it's already 12 o'clock. Where did the time go? I didn't expect to be so busy prior to
Yeah,
12.
I mean, where has the year gone? How is it almost end of October?
This is true. Literally, like next week, it's a mess. Like it's the last week of October. I'm seeing people are joining. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us once again. This is part of the volunteering series that we've been hosting from September and now into the month of October. Today, we've got an awesome guest who's joining us from an organization called Forgood. And I think let's just get started and get into it. Should you have questions, please put them in the description box as we go along, and I will read them throughout, either asking questions or towards the end. Alpha, lady. Say ladies. Hi, Elvis.
Hi, gentlemen.
All right, tell us a little bit about yourself. You know, what you studied, what your role is at Forgood before we get talking about the organization itself.
Okay, so I am Busisiwe Chauke. I am a program manager at Forgood. So I actually studied at the University of Johannesburg. I did audiovisual production management at the Kingsway campus many years ago. And that was actually, what I actually started studying first was LLB. And then I did that for a year and I felt, you know what, this is not for me. I'm looking something that's going to allow me to exercise the creative side of myself. And that's why I went into media. And after completing that degree, I started out in media marketing and then eventually here at Forgood, where I am exercising that creativity and also just helping people make an impact through the work that I do.
Wow, were you given any grief by family from changing to a more acceptable traditional course such as law and going to audiovisual space?
Yeah, well, you can imagine that conversation was tough in the beginning, as always is with the parents. But I'm lucky to have supportive parents who actually just wanted me to chase my dreams and believed in the fact that whatever I chose to do, I'd be able to make it happen. And I think maybe they also saw that side of me that was being compressed when I was doing my LLB, and they felt like, you know what, let us just let her fly. And I have, it's proven to be a great choice. I'm succeeding in the area that I've chosen to pursue.
I love it. All right, tell us about Forgood, because when I found this, while I was doing research in terms of which organizations to interview, I was super excited to find an organization like this. And I was like, where was Forgood when I was studying? So tell us a little bit about it, when it started, who its target audience are, that kind of thing.
Okay. So the idea of Forgood actually came about in 2010, but we officially launched in 2014. We were actually founded by Dr. Garth Jaffet. He is actually also the brainchild behind Soul City, if you remember Soul City and Heartlines, you know. So Forgood is really founded from a personal place of really making impact in society. We target anybody basically a citizen in South Africa who has anything that they would love to give back, whether this is the donation of goods, the donation of money, the volunteering of your time. You're able to come onto the platform and we would connect you to the causes that would make use of what you have to offer. We are also called the Tinder of volunteering, if you may. We create those matches for good. That is exactly what we do, you know. And on top of that, we also run employee volunteering platforms for our clients. We've got about 17 corporate clients within South Africa and in the UK who we help to create giving experiences and initiatives, projects and events of social impact for the employees. And obviously we do that in line with the CSI strategy.
Okay. How do you vet what kind of organizations are put onto the platform to ensure that when people choose the platform, it's a credible organization and it's one where people won't be scammed, for example? How do you decide that?
We definitely do have a vetting process in place. So all the causes that you would connect to on Forgood have to go through that vetting process, and that would include obviously confirming that they've been in existence for at least a year, that they have their NPO or NPC certificate, that they have their tax clearance certificate, all of that to just ensure, like you said, that you do not give to a cause that is not actually an existing cause that helps underprivileged beneficiaries.
I love that there's a, because I mean, I can only imagine, not even, I mean, I'm a volunteer individual and it's very tough to find organizations, one, but then also find organizations that actually do what they say they're going to do without being scammed by the organization. So this is why I was super excited to get you on here to talk about Forgood. Could you walk us through what you do on a daily basis in the organization as the program manager?
So as a program manager, on a day-to-day basis, I'm busy on the employee volunteering platforms of our clients. I have to make sure that everyone who wants to volunteer and donate is able to do so. I help them to find specific initiatives. For example, you will find a person who will say, I have a love for dogs, but I don't know where to get started. So I would connect you with the right causes. I would help you find the most suitable causes within your location, for example. I would help you to either choose micro volunteering opportunities, which are things that you can do in 10 minutes, quick and easy, things that do not need long-term commitment. Or I could help you set up programs. You know, if this is something that you and your team want to do for a month, for 6 months, we definitely have a tailored solution for each and every single volunteer and donor. And obviously also just taking care of people like yourselves, the citizens that come onto the platform who also want to connect to these causes, and also just making sure that everybody has a quality volunteering experience. Not only do we take care of our volunteers and donors, but we also take care of the causes that we work with as well, to make sure that they are able to put up the needs that they need help with on the platform. You know, sometimes it is help with just sourcing the right kind of information that needs to be put there. Sometimes it is help with just responding to queries, putting up comms and all of that. And I mean, we don't only just support these needs of the causes on our platform, we also promote other campaigns that they do on our social media and the events that we do.
I'm quite intrigued by you talking about micro volunteering experiences. Can you give me examples? Because whenever one thinks of volunteering, you spend some time, like a few hours. So that's very interesting to talk about having a 10-minute activity to do. What kind of activities would these be?
So this would be something as simple as a cause saying, look, we're running a fundraising event, and we have posted it on Facebook, and we just need more people to help us spread the word. And then you would literally go there as a volunteer, you volunteer to help them spread the word. You go onto their Facebook and you share the link of that event or that initiative. And that's as simple as that. 5 minutes, you're done.
I love it, because I've never heard of that. So that's quite cool for those who maybe don't have the time but still want to give back in some way, can do something like that.
Exactly.
Without the obvious, because obviously your platform is different, I'm just wondering, is there another organization that's similar to what it is that you do? And if there is, what makes you stand apart from that organization?
Well, there are a few. I would not necessarily say they do exactly what we do, because a lot of them would either be helping citizens or be helping causes raise funds, whereas we create the full giving experience for the people that do connect. And we also, for the employee volunteering platforms, for example, that we set up for our clients, it is a system that they're able to monitor and they're able to report on. So this is not something where a volunteer comes on, connects to one initiative, and they're gone. We help you to tailor your CSI strategy through the reporting that we do, through monitoring the behaviors of the volunteers and donors that you have, you know. And that is just one of the things that sets us apart. And obviously the fact that we have put now virtual volunteering to the forefront. Obviously with the complexities of COVID-19, a lot of organizations that do the work we do are struggling. How do we still get people to donate if they're not allowed to go to the cause? How do we still get people to volunteer without being there physically? And we have seen that with our virtual volunteering initiatives, volunteers are able to do so much more, because firstly, it entails a lot of skills-based volunteering. And these are services that otherwise, if you were not giving to the cause, they would have to pay for. We have also
Okay.
seen the giving of food and clothes, for example. You do not necessarily have to go drop them off anymore. You can buy whatever you want to buy online and then get it delivered to the home, you know. So we make volunteering so much more simpler as well for both the parties that are involved.
Wow. Speaking of, so Forgood has got a volunteering component within its organization. Would I be correct in assuming that? What would the volunteers be involved in? What sort of activities would they be doing in Forgood itself?
So it's really up to you as a volunteer. Like I said, we have almost 400 causes on the platform across the country. So you would be able to choose the locations. For example, I want to help organizations in Limpopo. You would be able to choose the categories. I only want to help organizations that deal with children or deal with education. And then you would be able to choose, are you volunteering your time? Are you giving goods? Are you giving money? And then you would be able to also choose passion-based. Like I used the example earlier. If you love dogs, you would be able to choose causes that work with dogs and be sure to obviously connect something that you will enjoy with, and then obviously be able to come back and do more of because you are enjoying it, you know. So in terms of also the skills-based volunteering, we have a lot of students who are asking, what kind of skills should I have when I come to, yes. So because these courses are also dealing with different beneficiaries and have different focuses, you're also able to choose something that is similar to maybe your field of study. So if you are in marketing, you can go on the site and say, I want to do, maybe help a cause with a marketing plan. Something similar to that, you know. We just recently had a program, a virtual volunteering program with the University of Stellenbosch University in the Western Cape, where we had their social work students coming onto the platform to connect to an 8-month-long virtual tutoring program with children in Diepsloot, in Alexandra, in Lenasia. So every Monday, these kids would connect from wherever they are via WhatsApp to get help with maths, to get help with, you know, Afrikaans or whatever it is that they needed. And not only was that helping those children, but it was also helping the students because they are getting real life experiences in the work that they will be doing when they complete their studies. So they are getting practicals because, you know, also practicals are not possible right now because a social work student cannot just go to a home, but they are able to do that through our virtual programs.
So that was the example that you used now, that was integrated into their program, and they will be getting credits for being able to do that through the through volunteering with Forgood on that platform, such as WhatsApp, etc.
Yes, that's correct. And if you actually go into forgood.co.za, you can still have a glimpse of all the campaigns that we currently have. You'd be able to see what exactly this specific campaign that was for the Stellenbosch University students entailed, and, you know, the kind of work that they were doing through the platform.
As much as you vet the organizations, is Forgood able to vet the kind of people that want to join the various organizations, or is that more left up to the organizations that individuals want to join?
Well, we actually do have a rating system that's in place. So in the very same way that you would, the same way that Uber works, for example, the driver can rate the experience with the passenger, and the passenger can rate the driver. So we have that relationship where you as a volunteer can come and say, this was my experience from 1 to 5 stars with this organization. And that is how we obviously make sure that the organizations that we have are giving quality experiences, and the other way around as well. We want to make sure that the volunteers and donors themselves are giving quality volunteering experiences to the causes as well.
This is so cool. Okay. And I'm guessing the ratings are generally quite high, and they aren't, I mean, you want to have balance, but it's generally good feedback from both sides. Have you found that?
Yes, we generally find great feedback, but there are instances where you might not get positive feedback. And what happens in that instance is we get in touch with the course to find out what happened. We get in touch with the volunteer as well. We also have a system in place where we can help volunteers volunteer better. So this is how you can do better in future. So we basically also train you how to volunteer and to donate better, and obviously improve the experience on both ends. But in general, yes, our experiences are great.
And what sort of skills do you find that a lot of volunteers walk away with after, you know, going through Forgood, or if they've had a bad experience and you train them to be better volunteers, for example? What skill set have you found young people are building?
We have seen a lot of business-related skills, for example. We have a lot of mentorship and stuff going on there. And that entails obviously across all the different industries. It can be marketing. We have seen people improve their admin skills. We see people improving their communication skills, you know. And obviously the platform also allows you to build relationships. This is not just a once-off where you're done and we say, okay, now go along your way. You can build relationships with these organizations. We have people committing in the long term to give back in the way that they can over the months and over the years. So it really does help not only develop society, but it also helps you develop yourself as an individual, you know.
Yeah. What challenges have you found you faced either as a program manager managing the volunteering aspect or even working with some of the companies that you've worked with? What are some of the challenges you face?
I would say that the biggest challenge that I have experienced in my time with Forgood was obviously the restrictions that COVID brought around. And as I touched on that earlier, we had to find ways to make sure that the opportunities on the platform were still relevant and still doable for volunteers and donors. And that is why I said, of course, yes, we've had these challenges, but we have found the solution through virtual volunteering. And yeah, it is working very well. And it's something that even beyond COVID, we definitely would want to stick with, and we definitely would want to encourage people to get involved in.
Have you found that you need to manage expectations of some volunteers? Because sometimes people volunteer and they're like, oh, I'm doing this, they're going to see how hard I work, and then I might be offered an opportunity. Have you found that that happens, and how do you manage that?
So, I mean, that is very clear when you are connecting to a cause that this is not a promise for employment, and there's obviously no remuneration. You are volunteering, you know. But to be honest, there have been instances where people will do such great volunteering work that when the organization is able to, they do get in touch and say, look, can you join the team? So it really does depend on the cause and the individual. You just do the best that you can, and you'll never know who's watching, you know, and what opportunities will actually open up for you.
Do you have volunteers under your wing at Forgood specifically?
So we do not have volunteers that are under Forgood. They go through Forgood to connect to the causes. So no, we do not really have anyone who is employed fully as a volunteer or donor.
Post-COVID, or I mean, you were able to work through COVID and its challenges. Should someone study audiovisual, communication the way you did, and they're watching this interview and they're like, Musisi is amazing, she sounds like she's got innovative ideas, I potentially want a job shadow under her, or be where she is and see what it is that she's doing, or whoever is at Forgood and the different people that work there. Is Forgood open to that, if not the volunteering aspect?
Yes, definitely. We definitely are open to that. We are constantly on the lookout for people who will bring value to our company. And that is, across industries. It's not just, as much as we are a volunteering company, we're not just looking for people who study some sort of social what or media. Marketing, some of my colleagues are coming from marketing backgrounds, some of them are coming from comms backgrounds, different kind of backgrounds. They even colleagues that I have who are actually in the positions that they are because of the experience that they have. So that goes back to the fact that even if you do not have the qualifications, just make sure that you're busy and you're building yourself and you're getting the skills and the knowledge that you need for the workplace. Yeah.
What have you, generally when you do speak to young people, especially around volunteering, what are some of the tips that you give them to ensure that their volunteering experience is a successful one, or at least one that is fruitful, either for themselves or for the organization they work with?
I say choose something that you're passionate about, because then it will not feel like a job or a chore. You are doing something that you're actually enjoying. Choose something where you feel you can make the most impact, whether that be because you have the most skills or you have the most to offer outside of skills. Definitely look for a good match so that it will be a great experience for you as well.
And how would they know that? What kind of questions do you encourage them to ask themselves in terms of the match aspect? What should they be asking themselves regarding that?
What do you enjoy? What do you enjoy doing? What kind of impact do you want to make? Is it long term? Is it short term? What does that look like to you? you can go, when you go onto the platform and you look at the different opportunities to volunteer, you also have an opportunity to connect to that specific cause before you commit to anything. So it is not like you go onto the platform and you click on volunteer and that's it, you're tied down. Ask questions from the cause, make sure that this is a match that you definitely do want to work with. And if not, move on. Find one that you do feel is more suitable to you before you commit.
I really like what you just said in terms of asking questions before you make the the commitment, because I think people make the mistake that because it's volunteering they'll automatically enjoy it. Like you're saying with the example before, you might enjoy working with animals, but maybe a particular organization and the manner they work is not for you. You might need to find another organization. Of the organizations, Shem, and sorry to all the good organizations, this is you on the spot here. Of the organizations you've worked with, is she back? I think, oh, there, no problem. I was saying, apologies to all the organizations you've worked with, and I'm going to put you on the spot here for a second. Of the organizations you've worked with, which are the top 3 that you've enjoyed the most and why?
Really on the spot. I'm not going to choose a top 3 that I've enjoyed working with all of them, and that's like me being honest. But I will tell you maybe the most recent ones that I have had direct impact with. One of them is Kensington Collections. So they are an organization that's based in Diepsloot, and currently they're busy with building an eco building. So they are building a school structure out of plastic bottles and recycled items, and it was really so amazing for me to see, because this is not only serving the children who come and get tutoring under that institution, but it is helping towards a sustainable eco environment. It is clearing up pollution in the Diepsloot area, and they're also creating employment within that area, because the people who are helping them make these bricks are actually community people, people who live within that community. And also they have partnered with some of our clients on various initiatives and campaigns, the most recent one being an eco brick making event that we actually had with one of our clients, African Bank. So it was a virtual event where they were training them how to make these bricks, and then when they were done making these bricks, these were collected and then dropped off at the course. So that's just one of them, Kensington Collections, remember that name. And then we've got Pakamani Young Minds in Soweto. They are doing amazing work. I mean, you can just go and check out their social media platforms to see the impact that they're making. And then we have, who's my other one that I can think of? We have Bless a Baby, for example. They also do a lot of work when it comes to taking care of pregnant women, taking care of pregnant teenagers who have nowhere to go, taking care of children who have been abandoned, taking care of them, whether it be getting them clothes, getting them diapers, getting them the food the milk that they need. It's also just like a holistic and such a healthy environment that these children are being raised in. And obviously a passion for me, it's just children and youth. That is where my heart lies. So yeah, that is my top 3, simply based on the most recent people that I have worked with.
What you just said reminded me of the quote that you put on for your bio, and I absolutely love that. Could you talk to us about this? Because that's the whole point of also building communities, right? Is ensuring that you're assisting people from a young age or from wherever they are, so as they grow, you're not trying to put in more resources and more effort to repair broken adults. Could you talk to us about that quote a little bit, and how that made sense for you as an audiovisual student, and then you moved into the space for social impact?
So I think it makes sense to me, not only as an audiovisual student, but as a student of life. I have realized, I mean, from what I have seen around myself, through not just my job, but through the work that I have been doing even before Forgood, that a lot of the broken people that we have as adults were broken as children. And actually that is, should I choose to go back to school soon, I will definitely go back and study psychology, because I have seen that a lot of the transgressions and the sordidness that happens in society starts from broken adults. So if we could fix them before they get to that point where they can create that damage, then we have definitely made a change. a lot of the work that we do also entails getting the beneficiaries, the children beneficiaries. The work that we do also entails getting them, the organizations that work with them, get them social workers and psychologists. To make sure that whatever they go through as children, they do not carry it into their adulthood. And I think for me, that is the best foundation. If we can all start there, then we definitely would not be having the problems that we have from the adults that we.
I absolutely love that. All right, let's now talk about getting involved as a volunteer. So because I love you like the Tinder of the volunteering space, you obviously are vetting the individuals that go through, etc. Is there particular documentation they need, as you know, to sort of say I'm part of Forgood? Like, what kind of information are you requiring from them in order for them to be part of the Forgood platform to volunteer somewhere?
So this is, are you referring to the causes?
Yeah, it could be the causes, or even as an organization in terms of what's being looked for. Do they need police clearance? Do they need to make sure they have a particular mark? All of that.
So all the requirements are also found on our platform, forgood.co.za, and under our 4 causes. So the most important thing would be that the organization has to be in existence for at least a year. They have to be registered with DSD. They have to have an NPC or NPO certificate, and they also have to have a tax clearance certificate. And then obviously, because this is a more tech-savvy platform, we need to also make it clear that you need to have access to some sort of technology, like a laptop, a cell phone, and access to data or Wi-Fi or whatever it is, so that you are able to engage with people that want to volunteer and donate to your platform on a regular basis through the platform.
Okay, and the individuals themselves, those that want to volunteer, is there anything or is it specific to the organization? I would assume.
Yes, so the vetting is simply for the organizations. Any individual that wants to come on as a volunteer or donor simply just goes to our site again, forgood.co.za. They click on sign up and then sign up as a volunteer or donor, and then they simply just have to provide their name, their surname, their email address, and their contact number. And then after that, they just create a password, and then you've created your personal dashboard, and you can start your volunteering journey from there.
And on there, you're able to see, according to organizations, in terms of specifications, in terms of how much time is expected, so that you can know whether I'm spending 10 minutes or a few hours in the week, etc.
Yes, so each need will be loaded with that information. You're able to see the location of the cause. You're able to see their website if you want more information on their beneficiaries, for example, how long that specific volunteering opportunity would take you. And the great thing about our personal volunteering profiles is you also have your own dashboard. So you're able to see all the volunteering work that you've been doing. You can go and scroll there and see all the causes that you have connected to. You can see all your messages. You can see your ratings, like what are the causes saying about you. So it really is your little mini volunteering little database where you can just refer to all the work that you've done.
I need to build a profile. I need to build one so that I can see.
Please do that now. Please do that now.
Like, do that now. I love it. And I mean, a lot of the time, sometimes students don't know what they've done, how they've done it, they forget. So having a dashboard sounds amazing, that I'm able to go back and just have a quick look. And if I need that information for like my CV, I'm able to put that info on there. Have you found that an organization or an individual doesn't have the values that you have, and you would have to like let them go? Or how does that work when there's sort of a clash in terms of who Forgood is and an organization that potentially wants to join them?
Yeah, so like I said, we really have those, but in the instances where we do feel like there's kind of a disconnect, we would then have that communication going out to say, this is the experience that the causes are having. Let us know what the problems that you're experiencing are, because we do not think that someone would intentionally come onto the platform to give negative volunteering experiences. Everyone that comes to that platform, we do believe, has some sort of passion to give back or pay it forward in some way. So for us, it is just to connect to those individuals and just to make sure that we fine tune them and help them tweak themselves so that they can give better, you know.
Right. And
but if your question is, have we ever kicked off a volunteer donor? No, it has never gotten to that.
Clearly, your vetting process is great. It's top notch. Otherwise, you would have had a problem by now. I'm just thinking of like LinkedIn. So, on LinkedIn, you can also add with activities you've done. And if someone puts up like a URL for the dashboard, not that a person, you would obviously need a password for the dashboard. But if I would do something like that for employers to see, they should be able to search me, the word for good, and see the kind of ratings that I've gotten from different organizations. Is that possible?
No, because you're sitting. So because you're sitting behind a login, we are also protecting your privacy. A person wouldn't be able to go and Google what Lucy has done on Forgood and then find that. But
Okay.
for those instances where we know students would want to have that volunteering experience out there, you are also able to connect to a cause that you're volunteered to give you, for example, reference letters. It is a form of work that you have done, and then you can put that, attach it to your CV, put them down as a reference if they give you the permission.
Okay. All right. I love that. Okay. I'm not seeing any questions that have come up. I mean, there was someone who asked, how do I get involved? And I think Busisiwe has, broken that down quite nicely. Busisiwe, could you again just drop your website, social media handles? If you're interested for our students to reach out to you specifically, how can they do that and where can they do that so that they know, excuse me, how to get involved?
Okay, so for the millionth time, I think I've said this so many times. Our website is forgood.co.za. And on the socials, we are Forgood SA on Facebook and Twitter. And then you can also find us on Instagram. We are Forgoodhood. So make sure that you follow us to see all the amazing work that we're doing in partnership with some of our clients and just ordinary citizens like yourself. Feel free to also drop us a DM. You can also email us if you have any questions. Email us at contact@forgood.co.za, and one of us will definitely get back to you.
Listen, everyone, this platform, if I just spoke to Forgood for this series, I think we would all be fine. Like, we could close things down and be done, because it's one platform that gives you vetted organizations that have allowed you to just go on there, create a platform or a profile, have a dashboard, and start the process of volunteering, because that is quite tough. And I think UJ, whoever's listening, UJ, y'all need to do something, okay? Because I unfortunately don't have the powers that be, but I'm just thinking of the example you used with the students, the social work students from, you said Stellenbosch University.
Yes.
How did that happen? Could you give us a tidbit into how that university got involved with you and how that worked?
So the university has a program called Engaged Citizenship. So this is where they are engaged citizens, and then they were obviously looking for arms to extend this across the country. They are based in the Western Cape, but they were looking for a way to reach a bigger audience, to make changes in bigger communities. So they reached out to us, and we basically tailored this program for them with the needs that those specific social work students had. We had to find the specific causes. We had to match them according to subjects. We had to match them according to the experience that they had to build throughout this program. And obviously the time allocated was determined by the program itself, and that is why we did an 8-month program. But definitely when a different institution or organization signs up to something like that, we'll look at the time frame that you want to do. We have some programs that run for a month, so we have programs that run for an entire year, and we wanted them to get the workplace experience that they would otherwise be unable to get, especially with the fact that they're now not able to do the physical practicals. We still had to make sure that they reached the objectives of their program, and this was the answer, the solution to their problem.
So, and would you be the person to contact? I'm just thinking, if anyone from my institution ends up watching this and then would like to potentially get involved in that, you're my contact at the moment, so would you be the person that I would contact in terms of getting something like that started?
Yes, definitely. Feel free to do that. My email is busisiwe@forgood.co.za. So it is BUSISIWE@forgood.co.za.
Now that you've given your email address, you potentially are going to be having an influx of emails from people, which is great. I think you enjoy doing this, so that's pretty good. But Sarah, this was I'm so like, why are we done? I feel very robbed. Why are we already finished? Any last motivations or encouragements for young people wanting to give back to communities and build their skills?
Yeah, what I would say is there is so much more. Oh, Yanda went there and posted my
Yanda.
email address. Thanks, Yanda. This is definitely the platform for you to make a difference and also develop your own skills. Do not think that you have nothing to give. Trust me, whatever you have to give, there is someone who would be happy to get those Nike sneakers that you no longer wear. There is someone that would want you to give as little as 50 Rand. The platforms allows you to give as little as 50 Rand towards the initiatives, you know. And there is someone who needs your skill. If you are great at building apps, someone needs an app on the platform. There really is so much that you can do. Do not think that you do not have anything to offer. And in the instance that you go onto the site, which is highly unlikely, and do not find something to volunteer or donate to, we also have an option to create an offer. So for example, if you're very specific, you have gray pots that you want to give away, and you can't find anyone who's looking for gray pots, you can create an offer saying, I'm Busitio, I'm based in Johannesburg, I've got gray pots. If you would like the pots, get back to me. You send that email out to the causes, and then they will all respond asking for those gray pots, and then you'll just have to choose who you're giving those gray pots to.
It's literally a one-stop shop. Like, you literally have been innovative in thinking about different ways of connecting both sides and ensuring that both sides of this equation are happy with the service or with the organization. Thank you so very much, Cecilia. I really enjoyed this. I feel like I need to get you back on to speak about your journey as an audiovisual specialist specifically, because I feel like that's one area we haven't really tackled in terms of the career space. But we'll probably do that next year. Let's all try and end off the year strong and end it off well. But thank you for taking the time to speak to us today.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I really enjoyed it, and I really do hope I will be back. I will hold you to that. I've got your email address. I've got your number.
We'll do it. We'll do it. It has to be done. And you're an alumni. You're an alumni. We've got to have you back.
Exactly.
Monique says, I'm really enjoying this engagement. Thank you, ladies. Monique, please follow them. If Busisiro doesn't know you and she doesn't know you had, follow them. Get onto their website, build a profile. I'm going to do that. I'm going to build a profile and find some stuff. Yeah, and now I'm happy because I know exactly what you do, and I can refer students to this platform and say, it's credible, go ahead, utilize it. So thank you, everyone, and we'll see you all back here tomorrow for our next guest.
Thanks, everyone. Have a lovely day further.